Hey, what's up, family? Hey, today I'm gonna do a very great video for you guys. I'm gonna title this one Chess and Life. And what we're gonna be dealing with this one, as you can see, I got set up here. We got one of my favorite books called The 48 Laws of Power. I'm gonna touch on a chapter in here. It's gonna touch on with all of these, and it's gonna be very familiar with a lot of you out there. Obviously, we got the game of chess here. It's gonna correspond back with this. And then here, very importantly, this is an old movie called Fresh. It was a great movie that I am more than positive a lot of you missed it, because the way a lot of us, when we seen this movie, we just thought, oh, it's another ghetto movie dealing with drugs and crime and violence. And yes, those things did happen in the movie, but what a lot of y'all miss, it had everything to do with chess. And I don't mean just him when they showed him in the park playing. No, I'm gonna go way deep into it. So in essence, what we're doing here is we're gonna go back in the past, old movie, to touch in the present now, so y'all can really understand what you missed in this movie. I would say this movie is so great that if you don't have it in your house, get it, rewatch it, and analyze it. How I'm gonna break it down for y'all to really understand and think outside the box of what you missed. Because I guarantee you, when you finish watching this video, you're gonna realize you thought it was a decent movie. You're gonna like it even more after I explain it. And for those of you out here who've never watched it, trust me, watch it. And if you love the game of chess, it's gonna make you love this movie even more. You know how we all got certain type of movies in our house, like a lot of times may have mob movies. A lot of black people got Friday in the movie in their house. Trust me, this is a great one to have. So look, let's just get on with it. So what I'm gonna do first, we're gonna touch on one of my great books. I love this book. Like I said, it's called The 48 Laws of Power. Now, what we're gonna do in this one, we're gonna go to a specific chapter. Now, this chapter is called Keep Others in Suspended Terror. Cultivate an air of unpredictability. Meaning, you do stuff that's unpredictable. Because when you do stuff that's always the same old, people start to predict what you are all about. And you're easily, for them to understand, I already know what moves he's gonna do and what he's about. You gotta think outside the box and think different. Matter of fact, I'm gonna just read a real small page for you, get a little bit more understanding, so you can be a little bit more analytical. And as always, y'all know I love to give y'all a word of the day. So the word of the day is gonna be analytical. So if you look up the word analytical, it means to be able to, it comes from analyze, to be able to break down, problem solve, stuff like that. So look, check this out. Humans are creatures of habit with an insatiable need to see familiarity in other people's and actions. Your predictability gives them a sense of control. Turn the tables. You must learn to turn the tables. Be deliberately unpredictable. Behaviors that seem to have no consistency or purpose will keep them off balance, and they will wear themselves out trying to explain your moves. Taken to an extreme, this strategy can intimidate and terrorize. Now, so if you understand what they're saying, meaning when a person can't predict what you're about, I don't care if it's sports, if you in a contest with somebody, if they can't predict your every move, then it leaves them off balance. Like they don't know what to do from you. You know what I'm saying? Rather this basketball, boxing, whatever. You know, we all know the boxer who you may think he's only southpaw or traditional style. When he switches up, it messes the other boxer off. Baseball players, we always used to the right hand guy who throws the ball. Every now and then you get a lefty. It throws people off. A basketball player who only could drive to his right, but now he could shoot with his left. It throws people off. See, when you study those strategies, it makes you unpredictable to people. So now we're going to touch back on what I'm saying here. The reason I love that chapter is because it dealt with a very famous person called Bobby Fischer. Now, Bobby Fischer was considered like this ultimate chess player. And you could go through the history books and you could read about this guy, great player. And what reason I'm speaking on this that's going to tie into these things is because Bobby Fischer had to play. Bobby Fischer was from Brooklyn, New York, and he had to play the Russian guy by the name of Boris Spassky. If I'm pronouncing wrong, please apologize. Forgive me. So Bobby Fischer had to play Boris Spassky. I believe they had to play like in Iceland or something like that. It was far. Now, remember, this whole thing is dealing with unpredictability and being analytical about your moves, about how you do stuff to overcome who your opponents that you're going against. Now, remember, Bobby Fischer, as great as he was at chess, when every time he played Boris beat him with almost like no effort. He beat him all the time. And Boris knew, this guy can't beat me. I smashed this guy every time. But when they had a great championship for the world to see over in Iceland, when they had that great championship in 1972, that's when Bobby Fischer put his plan together of saying, I'm going to be unpredictable. See, every time I played Boris in the past, he knew my moves. Now let's remember, the game of chess, nothing has ever changed about chess. It's a game of moves and strategic moves, which none of them change. You know, you can move diagonally, straight forward, back, depending on what position, whichever piece you are. So nothing changed. It's almost as if you got to know how to play the game and the player. So anyway, when this time for the big championship, what Bobby Fischer did different this time is he got in the head of Boris, because he knew just playing him up front, he couldn't beat him. He had to get in the head. So he went through a whole array of different things to be analytical. You know, different games and tricks he was doing. So when it came to the actual championship, he told him he's not showing up, even though he was there at the hotel or whatever. And then when he did show up, he showed up at like 5:09. I got this out of the book. At 5:09, 1 minute before the damn game's supposed to start. See, this all along had Boris like, yo, what's with this guy? Is he scared to play me? I mean, it's all this was for nothing? Man, this is ridiculous. So now when he finally shows up, when they play the game, as they was playing the games, he made sure to make boneheaded, naive moves. For him to be a professional, they was like, what the heck? He's making silly, immature moves. But see, this was all a strategy. See, he wanted to throw him off his game. And how I normally strategize and use the left side, more of the left side of my brain, be more analytical. But this time he was making boneheaded, naive, immature moves, which threw Boris off like, what? This guy, see, because Boris knew he played him opposed to playing the game. And then when they played the second game, he purposely showed up late for that one, and he got forfeited. So now he's down 2 games. So what did Bobby do now? When they played the third game and so on and so on, now he had his A game on. Because why? Before they started that, he came in there, he said, the lights ain't right. I don't want to play because these lights ain't right. The chairs don't feel comfortable. All these cameras around, all these cameras is just making too much noise. I can't focus. He was playing all these games to get into Boris' head. He made every excuse not to play the game when all along he knew he was going to play the game. But he wanted to frustrate him, get him out of his zone. And that's what he did. And when he did that, and he confused him about like, yo, this guy complaining about the lights. He complained about the chairs. He complained about the cameras making too much noise. He's complaining about the arena we in. Man, what's with this guy? And Boris never seen it coming. It was like a hit being blindsided. He never seen it coming. Now he was thinking about all the nonsense that Bobby is doing that he wasn't on his A game. And just like that, Bobby destroyed him. He destroyed him so much he ran out of the place when he was destroying him, punching his fist, saying, I'm destroying him with full force, with just destroying him. And later they said Boris needed mental help. He just couldn't believe, how did that happen? But see, what Bobby did was unpredictable. He didn't do his regular thing. So that's why I say I got that from the book, talking about chess. Now, what it got to do with the movie. A lot of y'all, check this out. Here's the big wham that you didn't get. Now, in the game of chess, we have your pawns, you have your rook, your knight, your bishop, your queen, your king. And then it goes the same way the other way around. You know, it goes back to your bishop, your knight, your rook. Now, in the movie Fresh, what a lot of y'all didn't get, remember, the boy, Michael, a.k.a. Fresh, he went by the name Fresh. That was his street name. His whole strategy, which I know y'all didn't get, is if you compare this to chess, which that's exactly what this movie was. It wasn't just about crime and drugs. It was about chess. That's why I'm naming this title Chess and Life. Now check this out, what y'all didn't get. You have no idea. In the movie, Fresh, he would have been considered, now remember, Fresh, he was a little boy, aka, like a man. He was a boy. But if you compare the movie to chess, Fresh, the boy, he was the queen. And what is the whole object of the game chess? The whole object of the game chess is to protect the king. At all costs, everybody is to protect the king. Now we all know they all have different moves on the board. The queen can move all over the board in any direction, backwards or forth. The king can only move one position. You got your bishop, they can move as many spaces diagonally. The knight can move like in an L shape, 2 spaces like in an L shape. And then you got your rook, he could go straight in any direction. So now, like I said, the key thing I know a lot of y'all missed was that Fresh, he was basically, compare it to the game of chess, he was the queen. Because remember, he was going all over town, setting things into play, like the game of chess, all for what? To protect his sister, which his sister was basically the king. See, that's the flip side that a lot of y'all missed, because it's kind of confusing when you're going, wait a minute, he's a boy, but he's the queen? Yeah, he had the most moves. Wait a minute, his sister's a girl, but she's the king? Yes. That's what I need y'all to use more of the left side of your brain and be more analytical. Break it down. Think about it. In the movie Fresh, if you've seen it, go back and watch it. You'll see what I'm talking about. Think about it. If you haven't seen it, or if you're one of these people, you just, oh, there's some black criminal drug movie. Trust me, the movie was excellent. Just it went over most people's head. They didn't get it. So like I said, if you break it down, that's what it was. He was the queen. He went all over town, all setting up things into play to protect his sister, which his sister was the king. Now let's talk more about the movie. Remember in the movie, he used to meet his father, which was Samuel Jackson, always in the park, and they would play chess. His father taught him chess. And as a little boy, he was incredible. He even was beating other people in the park and everything. And every now and then he used to go to the trailer where his father lived, and they would talk and they would play chess. And when they would play chess, remember his father, every now and then he would mention other chess playing great names such as Walter Shipman or Pal Binko or Paul Koresh. These were great players. And there's many more, but these are some that I remember off the top of my head when I went back and I watched the movie. So, and then I remember at one point in the movie, Fresh had looked at this one in particular picture on the wall. He said, "Who that?" And his father said, "Now that's Bobby Fischer. He was considered the great grand master of all." He said, "But put him on the clock and I'll kick his ass." He kept saying that. Put him on some speed, put him under pressure. You put these people under pressure, I'll bust their butt. That's what he kept saying in the movie. But like I said, a lot of y'all, if you think about it, now let's go to another part of the movie. If you wanted to break it down and say, okay, who was who? So if Fresh was the queen and his sister was the king, then you would say the rooks and the bishops, that would have been someone like Corky, Esteban, and James. Remember, they was the big drug guys. All the pawns were people such as Hector, who ran the recycling company, who he gave the money to get the drug. That would have been a pawn. You know who would have been another pawn? The little boy in the basketball court that was playing ball. He made Jake, he embarrassed Jake by shaking him on the court. And then he would have been a pawn. Another pawn would have been the little girl who got shot in the basketball court. It's unfortunate that those are what you call casualties of war. And that was an unfortunate one. But the little boy on the court and the girl, they both would have been pawns in the game. There's plenty of pawns in this movie. But those would have been some. And remember, Fresh and that girl, they liked each other. And then remember, when that bullet hit her, he was hurt. Like, yo, Jake killed my soon-to-be girlfriend. And remember, it was later that night when they was at, they met up where there was a dog fight. And when Fresh seen Jake and Jake seen Fresh, Fresh looked at Jake with such a hateful look. Like, I hate that guy. Man, I hate that dude. And Jake looked at Fresh with that look like, man, this little kid, I ain't worried about him. He ain't nobody. And see, now touching on nobody touched me back to another video of mine. I would advise all of y'all, if you've seen it, go back and watch it again. If you haven't seen it, go to my channel and type up the video called You Ain't Nobody. And that would touch on that look that Jake gave Fresh. Like, don't ever sleep on nobody. That nobody might be the one that take you down. And that's what Jake made the mistake in looking at Fresh like, little kid, he ain't nobody. Now, you see what I'm saying? So, now, Jake would have probably been your knight. He would have been your knight. Jake and his boy, because they went out and did all the dirty work. See how if you go back to this movie, I'm telling you, you will look at it in a whole different light that you didn't catch before because you just thought it was a drug and criminal movie. But no, that boy was intelligent. And that boy moved all around town like a queen, all to protect his sister. And then there was little things other in the movie too that was very important. Oh, but let's get back to Jake. You see how he set up Jake? And then when he put everything together, and remember, Jake was sitting in there with Corky, and he was telling, Fresh was making up everything because he was thinking like chess in the game of life. And remember the part where he said, Jake was the one that told me to do this and do that. And Jake was over there doing his nails, not paying attention. Then he said, yo, that little motherfucker lying. But it was too late. Corky went and got that chain. And then he started beating Jake. And he was like, so Jake gonna be the man. Jake gonna be the man. Y'all remember that? I love that part because Jake wound up beating, remember, they were knights. Corky wound up beating Jake and his partner. They were the knights. Beat him to death. But see, like I said, a lot of us, we missed that. This movie was chess and life. It was more than just criminal and drugs. He was strategically all over town the way a queen would do to protect their king. What confused y'all was the fact that it was backwards. The boy playing the queen, the girl playing the king. But anyway, even other little things. When he was in the park with his father, remember he was playing and he started, just like Bobby Fischer played Boris Spassky out, he was making bonehead moves and his father like, He said, boy, what's wrong with you? Don't come here wasting my time. You want to play the game right. He said, the point of the game, you want my king, right? All these other pieces on here is just a means to an end to get my king. So play like you got sense in your head, boy. Don't come here wasting my time. See, that was another pivotal part of the movie. See how important it is for a father to be in his kid's life. And that part in the movie, it showed just how much time he taught to teach his son, even if it was just a game of chess. That game of chess was the very thing that helped him defeat his enemies and put a plan together and beat all of that. Another part I like where he said to his son while he was playing chess, he said, boy, what kind of player am I? Am I an offensive player or defensive player? That's right, I'm neither. I play my opponent. If my opponent is playing cautious, I drive him into dangerous waters. If my player is playing offense, I bring him into defense. If you're playing defense, I play him into offense. You see what I'm saying? These are all pivotal points of the movie that a lot of us missing. As I said, yes, it's an old movie, but I would highly advise all you intelligent people, buy Amazon and buy that movie. I ain't getting no money off this. I love to educate jokers on some things that you may have missed. So in closing, that's what I would say. Remember, the word of the day was analytical, which analytical means is to be able to problem solve, to be smart and be able to break things down and have a better understanding of it. Remember, this movie was an incredible movie that most people miss. I know I done said it a couple of times, but Fresh, the boy was the queen. His sister was the king. He did everything to protect her. And remember in the end, he finally put them drugs in a bag and he called the cops and his sister was all drugged up and all messed up. And when the cops came, he said, oh, the drugs on the bag. He put it there. He be beating on me and beating on my sister. And remember, even Esteban was like, yo, that little motherfucker lying. He lied. Oh, man, what you up to? They didn't. Everybody was sleeping on Fresh because he was a kid. But see, like I said early in the video, I'm going to say it again. Go to my video. It's called You Ain't Nobody. And you will have a better understanding. I would advise any and everybody in the world, don't ever sleep on nobody in the world, because nobody will be the one who surely do you in. And that's what they did with Fresh. They kept, little boy here, they kept thinking he was nobody. Ah, you little kid, he ain't nobody, I ain't worried about him. Big mistake. Don't ever sleep on nobody. But as I say, go back and watch that movie, and you will now be able to correspond all this together. The story of Bobby Fischer playing the chess champion Boris Spassky with the game of chess, and the movie Fresh. It's an oldie but goodie. I advise everybody should have that movie in your house. And as always, subscribe, share, like, and comment, and take my word for it. You'll love it. It's a great movie. You'll love this too. I gotta get back on getting better at this. At one time, I didn't know how to play it all. I remember as a young gentleman, an older guy, he was going to teach me. Just to give you a last little levity here. That's another video. Go to my channel, type up levity. You'll love that too. But I had no idea how to play chess back in the days. And I had met a gentleman all the way in Dominican Republic, which he happens to live not too far from me. And he told me he'd teach me. Just come over his house. This is exactly how he taught me. It was actually kind of funny. When we get over the house, lovely guy, lovely wife, lovely atmosphere. She made us dinner and all that. It was wonderful. But then he had set up a chessboard after we ate, right? And then he said, all right, come on, let's play. And I was like, I was baffled. I was like, hey, man, but I thought you was going to teach me how to play. He said, yeah, I am going to teach you. We're going to play. That's how you're going to learn. You're going to learn a crash course. Of course, I'm going to beat your butt, but that's how you're going to learn. And sure enough, man, I was doing my little moves. He beat me like quick. But then I soon learned that the queen could move anywhere in the board. The king only had one move, but you got to protect him at all costs. The bishop moves any amount of spaces in the diagonal position. The knight moves in the L shape, 2 spaces, and then the L shape. The rook moves anywhere straight. But that's it. See, I started to learn these things. I got to get back on it so I can brush up and be a little bit better on this. So, in closing, didn't y'all think that was pretty cool? How Fresh was the queen, his sister was the king, but y'all may have missed that. Now, like they say, when you didn't know, now you know. So since you know, you should be better at being more analytical about things. And on that note, peace.